I am first and foremost a human on this planet. And so this podcast is always going to address what's happening to humanity. Spirituality is life, is politics, is humanity. They are not separate. So I noticed a theme for me that the last few podcasts have basically been me ranting about, politics and stuff. And it's going to happen again today. But I want you to know that I understand that we don't always want to talk about that. And so this podcast will not always be about the politics and that kind of thing. But right now, it is so much in my face and my energy field that it's like I can't help but talk about it. If there are topics that you want me to explore, just find me on social. It's earthdecoded.fm on TikTok, and then on Instagram and Threads, I'm erica.earthdecoded.fm. Or you could just leave a comment on my YouTube. People have done that too. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about the fact that we're in World War III. They're just not calling it World War III because, semantics. So why is this putrid excuse for a human allowed to remain president of the United States right now when he has broken every rule possible? And this will kind of be a continuation where I talked about how belonging is, you'd think I'd know. You think I would know what I talked about. I don't remember. I literally just read it to make sure I'm not repeating myself. Okay. So there's a few possibilities that I've pondered about how this is happening right now. One being that he has done so much in order to not get arrested, like that there's so much paperwork, bureaucracy, that it would take so much time to bring him down based on the system we have now. I mean, he's been impeached twice before he was elected president for the second time. And it didn't do anything because he's bought and paid for. It didn't even keep him from running for office and winning. Ponder that. A convicted felon who's been impeached twice during his tenure of his first presidency was able to become president again. This is how you know the system is broken. We're not built for this kind of treason. Our system's not built for it. It did not prepare us for a dictator. Not in this country. Not the way we think of it. It's like you can prepare for like one-off things like impeaching Bill Clinton for getting a blowjob, But someone who is this diabolical, someone who has gone completely rogue, they're a chaos agent in our country's name, still has his fingers on the pulse, the missiles and the nukes, and is creating unnecessary wars, all to distract us from the fact that he's a pedophile, rapist, con man. Here's what it would take to end this. His people cannot follow his rules. And I know you're like, well, good luck with that. But people are so afraid to go against the grain, to go against the system, the established system. Maybe they're all Capricorns. Just kidding. I have a Capricorn moon. I can say that. But he's out there doing this himself. And there are people who work for him that have to push the actual buttons, that have to do the actual actions. And they have the opportunity to do the right thing, but they're following their system. Instead of thinking about what's best for humanity, they're just following orders, which many were taught to do. I get it. Once that's ingrained, it's hard to get it out. But that is the problem. He cannot exist without his groups doing his bidding. He's just a dumb white man who has surrounded himself with evil, and I use this loosely, humans or whatever the fuck they are. And that is who is calling the shots. And this puppet up there who has dementia, who has to get his ego blown like his dick, probably like needs his ego filled in order to survive. Like he's a succubus. He needs his ego to be fed. And that's what they do. And the system supports that. They being whatever, the Illuminati, whatever you want to call them, the people with the money and the power. And so the people under him that have a conscience and are still operating under the human moral code, if they exist, they have to say no. They have to say no, and they have to not do it. It has to trickle down into the soldier on the field, into the intern at the White House. Like everybody has to say, I'm not going to do this anymore. This isn't right. And that is going against the system. A system that's taught them to be obedient. If I just do this, if I'm obedient, then I'm just doing my job. I can justify it. But as a human, you have to zoom out a lot. When you've been taught and brainwashed to believe that we're a patriotic country and blah, blah, blah. And this is mostly directed to the United States. Although I'm sure there are other countries in this world that operate very similarly. I know there are. But you have to zoom out to see all the systems that are working, the interplay between them, and how that's what's keeping us in this loop as a country. Every country operates like this. There's people in power that do powerful things, and whatever, we don't do it alone, right? Like the US needed our buddy Israel to bomb Iran. The majority of the US does not support this war. The people don't want that. And yet here we are. So you have to ask yourself, how do we get out of it? Not how did we get in it? We already know. Our systems were built for this, and the US administration is using this to their advantage. So we have to do the same. They're finding loopholes. They pick arbitrary random rules that are technically legal because our Constitution was written so long ago that you can take anything and make it appear legal. So that's what we do too. We extort what we want out of it so that we can justify in some way that the system is supporting this. And then in order to get rid of the problem, you also have to go in. And if you're doing this by the book, which the Democrats have to go by the book because blah, 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 they always do. God forbid they just, take it into their own hands. But the old rules are gone. They're trying to impeach him, which does nothing when he's a rogue dictator. We don't even have all the votes to impeach him. And then let's say we do. Then what? It does nothing but look like something's happening on paper. Maybe that's why they haven't done it. Because they're like, it's literally like throwing a dart into the wind, right? It doesn't have any place to go. So of course the Democrats cannot go by the rule book. The Democrats have to go rogue in order to fix this. And we can protest and we can boycott and do all the things that we're doing, which is fantastic. And that's what we need to do for the greedy corporations to listen. It's totally working. Look at Target. But it does not do shit unless things actually change from it. There's a statistic, once the marches and the boycotts reach 3.5% of the population, that the tide shifts. But we've made that and then some. I'm positive. The problem is the system's against us. The US has never had a dictator. There's no precedence for this. So you can't use statistics like that. Well, once we march for that, no. It's not going to work. We have to think outside the box. What is it that we haven't done that we can? that isn't the same old shit because it's not working. Yes, it moves the pendulum a little when it comes to perception. And yes, perception can change a system. We all believe and perceive that that system is wrong, and it's already kind of starting, right? Several people have filed exempt for federal taxes. And for those not in the US, it means we get more money in our paychecks during the year instead of giving it to the government. This would mean at tax time we would have to pay more. But some will not be paying this year. But I fear most people will pay. It's not going to work. Trying to get 330 million people to do anything, especially when we're all different cultures, belief systems, generations, racial profiles, it's a lot. No excuses, of course, but the United States is big. We need somebody who's going to go outside the system and take care of the problem. And I know what that sounds like. And I think there are alternative ways, but I still stand by that idea. And the belief that we are witnessing a loss, a losing team, the patriarchy, who's trying everything not to lose, but they have already lost. This is the last step to dethrone them. And it won't happen through information. It happens through action. Information does nothing without action. The Epstein files, I mean, he's literally in there thousands, millions of times, detailed accounts. And if we had just believed women, we wouldn't even need these files. Most know how evil he is, but what's the action? What do we do with it? And I know there's been people who have been screaming from the top of their lungs, do something, do something. What are they supposed to do at this point? Bring articles of impeachment? They can't even get the votes for that. It's going to take something radical. Not something bureaucratic, not something government, radical. And this country is not ready for radical. Hi, it's my cat. We're still posting memes about stuff, talking about Love is Blind. Saturday Night Live is still doing skits about Pete Hegseth, we don't take things very seriously when it comes to a lot of this. And look, I get it. I'm in this discourse too. I watch it too. I laugh. I share memes. I don't blame anyone for enjoying themselves however they want. It's a nice escape from all the shit. Seriously. And I would never want to take that away from somebody. But as long as we stay comfortable, the systems are going to keep supporting everything. We're not going to be able to get out of the system if we're continuously using it. It's gonna be uncomfortable, and it has to be. To be radical means we also have to remain living and finding our joy. And so how do you make that balance happen? How do you balance being joyful in the middle of this timeline? How do you balance wanting to find something familiar, remember something nostalgic with bombs being dropped against our will and consent? And then there's the pedophile sex trafficking ring that is massive and global. How do we balance all of this? How do we translate and transmute that energy into something we can live with every day? And how do we change the world? How do we change the systems? By being radical, by thinking outside the box. Prayers are not going to help us through this. Our focus could. And if you want to say a prayer, then fine, but that only shifts the energy. The energy needs action too. And as somebody who works with energy, I know how powerful energy can be. It can literally create action if used properly. But, and this is a big but, energy can't do it alone. It has to be followed by action because the systems we created were created with energy, but also literal things written down. Without that, we just have energy momentum, and you can feel it here in the US. You could feel the energy momentum. It's shifted. We've already won on the energetic front. We've won. They are scrambling for a reason. We got the people on our side. We have won. But without the action that goes with that energy, it's not going to be visible to anyone here. And it will remain in the energetic realm. I don't know what the answer is. I wish I did. All I know is it needs to be something drastic. And I don't think storming the castle, so to speak, will do anything. It has to be from the people inside the situation. They have to flip. And it's going to take a lot for that to happen. The people with their literal fingers on the literal buttons have to say, this is wrong. I will not do this. You're a fucking lunatic. I don't care if you have the title of president. It's just a word. It's just a title. That system needs revamping. And then you take your finger off and you're like, nope. And then the next person's like, oh, we can do that? We can take our fingers off of that? Yeah, okay, I'm not going to do it either. Hey, I'm not either. Yeah, I felt bad about this too. I don't want to do it. Okay. And that's how it happens. We stand together. It's risky, very risky, especially when we have other countries that are doing things with us, that have stuff going on, wars. Like, it's risky. But those are the risks that will end this. He can't do anything without other people doing it. I find it hard to believe that everybody who works for him believes that this is good. No way. That's not why they joined the military. That's not why they joined the government to begin with. There are still people who I believe have a moral backbone, but they're scared because the system keeps them scared. Well, if I do this, I'll be arrested, I'll be killed, blah, blah, blah. If I do this, I won't be elected for another term. You know, so what? We've lost control of our country in less than a year. Like, I mean, you could look outside on an average day in an average state and think everything is the same, but it's not. And if you're listening to this, we came here for this. We came here to be the transition team. The transition team in this revolution, this frequency upgrade of planet Earth and humanity, whatever you want to call it, to usher the next stage. And this is the hardest team to be a part of. Let's just call it what it is. Because we're here at the most pivotal moment where things make or break, where things fail or succeed. And you could say there's been different points of pivot in this country's history in the US, even across the globe, but not like this. Trump only cares about Trump. He simply does not want to go to jail for being a rapist and a sex trafficker and whatever else he is. So he's going to start wars with other countries, and he's going to keep trying to distract us because he does not want the consequences for his actions. Until next time, peace and love to you all.